Welcome back to the show. We're joined now by defensive back Josh McLeod and tight end Alex Haan. Josh, how do you think the defense has responded after giving up 35 points that first week?
Well, you know, that first week, that was the second most points we've ever given up since I've been here. And it was, especially with all these seniors, it was like a shock, and we were all pretty disappointed and upset. So we've really stepped it up, especially in practice, trying to be more vocal, especially the leaders, and trying to have more fun. I feel like during camp in the first week, it was more business. We've been trying to just lighten the mood up and just have more fun playing. So we're definitely taking it as we need to step up, and that was very unacceptable.
Winning sort of helps keep the fun in the game, you might say.
Yeah, winning, something we do a lot since I've been here at North Central, and it's a lot of fun.
The Cardinals actually lead the nation with 9 interceptions this year. How have you guys been getting after the ball so great?
Well, I mean, we do a lot of takeaway circuits and just practice takeaways in practice, but I didn't actually know that we had that stat, so that's good to hear, especially because last year our turnovers were one of the areas we want to focus on this year, because during practice we would get a lot of them, but just for some reason we didn't get a lot in the game, so it's good to hear. You
actually have 12 career interceptions. Do you take pride in going after the ball when it's in the air?
Yeah, for a defensive back, I mean, your main job is to defend the pass, so whenever the ball's in the air, I just try to go get it before the receiver does.
Alex, the offense has really turned it on these past 2 games too, racking up 70 points, then 86 points. What has been clicking for the team?
One of the biggest things we wanted to focus on in the Redlands game, we got in the red zone 7 times and only scored 4 touchdowns. We were very disappointed about that, and one of our main focus was once we're in the red zone, we need to score. It's unacceptable to kick field goals, so we want to score touchdowns. So that was our biggest focus, was just to improve on things that we needed to improve on, and that was scoring in the red zone. And since that game, every time we've been in the red zone, we've scored touchdowns. So that really helps out our points.
How has the balance been between passing and running the ball? It seems some games you guys will pass more, other games you may run the ball more. Do you guys try and keep that 50-50, or do you feel that one side is better than the other?
Obviously, we want to be a running team, but some teams, what they show us in film is that we need to pass the ball. And coming into conference, we need to be able to throw the ball and run the ball. So whichever works the best that week, that's what we want to do. But obviously, running the ball opens up the pass.
The Cardinals may not have hit the field this weekend, but they didn't take a break from hitting the books. We see how the Cardinals put the student in student-athlete in this week's Cardinal Corner.
The Cardinals may not have suited up on Saturday for game day, but that doesn't mean the team still wasn't busy preparing. Not for their next opponent, but for upcoming midterms, so the team can excel off the field in the classroom.
We know that this is Division III football. Even though we have a great team and we're ranked high in the country, most of us aren't going to the NFL. It's just not not what is going to happen. So we're here to get our degree first, and athletics is always second.
The veterans on this Cardinal team make sure to instill academic pride and mentor younger players to make the transition to college as easy as possible, and to earn some bragging rights among their teammates.
We have like a competition between like wide receivers, defensive backs, O-line, D-line, quarterbacks, running backs, and whichever group has the best GPA, you get like a certain type of reward, like a hat or a t-shirt.
Coach Thorne actually tells us to sit at the front of the room, take your hat off, and greet and then say goodbye to the professor every single class, and we do.
The effort put in by the Cardinals doesn't end when class does. Each weeknight, dozens of players head to the college's study group called EDGE.
EDGE is a structured environment to come to study. We have tutors available for kids who need it. We have a group study area so you can come with a group. And we also have a quiet area which allows you to actually sit and think and not be distracted by your roommates, music, stuff like that.
The structured program is open to all students and monitors the amount of time each Cardinal puts in throughout the week and the entire term in order to gain good study habits.
If you're not going to get the good grades, you're not going to play in the field, no matter how good of a freshman you are. Outstanding football player. If you don't have the grades, you can't compete.
With a roster that's full of competitors, the players use a number of resources to help give them the edge on the competition for the eventual day they hang up their cleats.
What the coaches do is they always send out emails giving internship opportunities. We have 2 academic advisors on the team that are extremely helpful in what they do. So it's the help from the staff and the coaches that really gets us going and helps us get acclimated to the job market.
And while the end of their academic career may be weeks away for some and years for others, the habits they have learned will be beneficial for life after football.
Josh, how does the bye week give some of the younger guys a chance to acclimate themselves to football life?
Well, I'd say they're getting more reps in practice in the bye weeks, just trying to get everyone to know the defense and just getting used to where they have to be in certain drops. So it's a lot less pressure for them because they know we don't have a game coming up, and I'm pretty sure they can just play more loose during the week. So,
Coach, how important is it to recruit young guys that not only excel between the lines on Saturday, but in the classroom as well?
Oh, that's huge. You know, you have to have football's a game where you have to be able to think as well as play and play fast. So you got to think fast, make quick decisions. And guys that can do good things in the classroom can pick that up a lot easier. You know, complex offenses, complex defenses are kind of the norm in college compared to a high school situation. So, and we just love to have guys that are really serious about education. You know, this is college. It's not just football.
Alex, a number of the younger guys have seen the field these past 2 games, you know, in the big wins. But how does that help your team when you need some of those players to step up in conference play?
A lot of our younger guys, we call them the Salem Warriors, and we need those younger guys to help us out in the conference to get to Salem. Obviously, we take things one game at a time, but without those younger guys, even though we have 37 seniors, we can't do it by ourselves. We need everybody on the team to step it up, and that's just not the juniors or just not the sophomores, but the freshmen as well.
How does that shuffling of players make it hard to game plan against the Cardinals? It seems like every other drive we could see a different backfield or quarterback out there, and they'll still be effective.
Well, absolutely. That's one of our strong points in offenses. We have so many weapons and so many different packages that Coach Thorne always finds a good way to get the best personnel on the field against the defense that we're playing. Especially with so many seniors and so many other kids who can contribute, it's really hard for defenses to game plan. And once one offensive package doesn't work, it's just as easy to go in and throw another package in and run with what works.
You came in as a quarterback, you're now listed as a tight end, but there seems to be a couple guys on the offensive side that can really play 3 or 4 positions and play them well.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I played quarterback, and that's I think what really helped me to make the transition to tight end. I know all the positions on the field, so I can play fullback, I can play receiver, I can play tight end. And there's a lot of guys. You know, Tassio plays quarterback, plays running back, plays receiver. Hicks came in he was a quarterback in high school, and you know he plays some wildcat, he plays some running back, he plays just about everything. So it's nice that a lot of guys on our team can shuffle around and play just about any position.
Josh, there's not as much of that shuffling going on with the defense, but how do you guys do your jobs well in each position?
I'd probably just say practice, going over the details like Coach talks about, tackling and just knowing your jobs. We do a lot of walking or walkthroughs on Tuesdays just to know what the offense is going to do that we're facing and just know where we have to be, and then we pick it up the next few days.
How much do you rely on those other positions such as defensive line, linebackers to get their job done for you to succeed?
Well, I mean, defensive line, they do a lot of the rotating like the offense does, but if we didn't have a good defensive line, we would not have a good defense. Our defensive line, I think, personally, is the best in the country, and they're going to show it this next couple of weeks, especially in conference.
Coach, what kind of freedom do you give your offensive and defensive coordinators with that personnel, you know, shuffling, or do you sort of say, let's get this guy in there at times?
Well, nobody listens to me anymore. Anyway, I'm kind of the old guy, and Coach Jeff and Coach Ponks, they do a great job scheming with knowing these players can do this, and don't put them in a situation to ask them to do things that they really can't do. And so that's the only thing that I keep talking to them about. Let's make sure what we're asking them to do is something they can actually do physically and mentally and so on and so forth. And that's about all I ever get to put into it. So they do a great job of playing a lot of players, though.
Alex, you guys start CCIW play this week against Carthage. Are you guys looking ahead at all, or is the team just focused this weekend?
Our big thing is we talk about in the offensive room is win. And that's just not winning on the field. That's what's important now. And what's important now is being on this TV show and answering your questions. And, you know, after this, we want to go to our meetings, and that's important, and then practicing today. So, I mean, looking ahead could be very easy to do, but we want to focus on this game today, tomorrow, and what's important now.
I'm glad you think that's important to be on the show.
Absolutely.
Josh, do you think the defense feels any pressure heading into conference play to sort of step it up?
I don't think we have pressure. I just think we have something to prove, especially because that first game we keep going back to, letting up 35 points is not acceptable. And we know that we're going to be better, and we are better than that, so we just got to go out and show, especially this week. Conference play is what we wait for all year, so we've been waiting and waiting, and they're a 3-0 team, so we got to go out and prove it again.
You guys missed the playoffs with 2 losses a couple seasons ago. Is that in the back of your head when you take the field?
Yeah, this senior class is not going to let that happen. So,
Alex, do you feel the same way as the seniors?
One thing we talked about when we met offensive and defensively together, and we said that since the seniors have been here, we've been in every situation. You know, we've been 10-0, we've been 8-2, we've lost a game in the conference, we haven't lost a game in the conference. We're ready for everything. Now is our time to shine, and now is our time to move on forward, and making the playoffs is what we're going to do.
Well, Coach, Alex, Josh, thank you so much for joining us. Coming up next, we have Clark Tusher stopping by to keep the Red Zone up to date with the fall season in North Central College athletics. You don't want to miss any action right here on the Red Zone.